Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So, babe.
Hello.
Oh, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you I can't see you, but I can hear you.
All right, let me get my little picture going somewhere here. I think it's supposed to be. There I am. Oh, you still can't see me.
No, not yet.
Right.
Stacy and Debbie. Everybody is there, but not visible. There she is, Debbie. Hello.
Mine's not coming on?
Not yet. Nicole is coming on. Bottom left is the camera. Yeah.
Start video.
Hello.
Start video. Exactly. There you are, Nicole.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Debbie.
I'm going to disappear for a minute to feed the cats, but I'll be right back.
Thanks for the reminder on which button to push.
Push my buttons, girl. Push my buttons.
Yeah.
These days.
Good morning.
There you are. You're a little dark there.
Yeah, I just turned the other light on and it's not doing much.
But we can see you.
Let me see if all the lights behind me and above me.
I know.
see if I
It's so
can.
funny these days, there's so much talk about people's background on these Zoom calls. And, there are all these psychological studies now, who's putting what behind them, to represent their um, uh, knowledge of literature when there's all the bookshelves, or are they more, some people sit in the closet because they have kids at home and they can't have a meeting in the living space, so people sit among their shirts and skirts, and I don't know what. It's just so funny.
That is funny.
The human race is just always like out with the curiosity of what's next, to identify who that person is and what their life is like. Emily, good morning. Emily, you're
Good
actually,
morning.
there you are, not muted anymore. And Pam is here, but she is also not yet visible. There she is. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Let's see. Yep, that's so I just got we all, I guess, got an email from Lacey that she is at the barn and she's gonna check in and introduce us to her horse, which he's a cutie, Dooley. And Karin had said that she has a meeting at 10, or a webinar that she's attending. I don't know. I haven't heard from Carrie since Wednesday. Debbie, have you heard from her?
Haven't, but she intended to be on the call.
Good. Okay, cool.
That's the last thing I heard. She was.
And Andrea, I haven't heard. Actually, she should probably be here. But if not, I'll text her in a second. And then Claire, who knows? There's
Hey,
Carrie.
There she is.
Hey, Libby.
Mudball, hi.
I know. It's a little, but his mane is just so ridiculously cool. Oh my God. It's just so funny. I have to.
Okay, you're. Well,
Are
now
you there?
you'll be up.
There you are.
There she is.
Hello. Hello. So I have, speaking of manes, I realized something so fascinating. It's maybe a week and a half ago, I looked at Monarch and I was like, this boy has a tail. I'm like, wow, what the heck happened? When I first met him, and I'm going to have to find a photo, he actually had a tail that, I mean, not that short, but it was barely to his hocks, I would say. It looked to me like one of those horses that lives with goats, where the goats nibble on the tail, and and the tail is kind of a little scraggly. Oh, wait a second. From Nicole to me, my audio is not working well.
No, I hear
You
you.
can hear you.
Hear you?
Yeah.
So wait a second. Yeah, Nicole, is there something wrong? That's funny. So anyway, and sometimes, I don't know if you guys know, but certain draft horses, when their tail was cropped, because the drivers don't want the tail to get into the lines when they drive them, the tail is kind of shorter. It just diminishes the growth. And since he can have sometimes, actually not right now, but he can sometimes look a little drafty, like he has quite the butterball. But I was like, well, maybe he's just, I mean, not that anybody messed with his tail, but I'm like, it's funny. He might just be one of those horses with a shorter tail. And let me tell you, down to his fetlocks, down to his ankles now. And even his forelock and mane is like, whoa, there's so much more hair, which I find this surprising, since I think my food offering here is probably not as good, considering he had prairie grass and we don't have a lot of grass here, so it's much more hay. But it's kind of cool to see that he actually, to me, that feels like an improvement to his well-being, because fingernails and hair is kind of one of those things. So it's just kind of a funny thing, seeing that shift a little bit. Don't
It's
know.
funny you mentioned that because in some of the posts that you put up, I noticed that too with Monarch. I said to myself a couple of times, his looks are changing a little bit.
Ah, really? Interesting. Yeah. Huh. So, yeah, so that was just a funny little seeing Mr. Unicorn there float with his flowy mane. Um, so I want to actually,
Well, the reason
yeah, go ahead.
the reason I was a couple minutes late, Elena down, is because we had a little magic here this morning. There were baby birds that had taken shelter underneath an Amazon box next to my front porch because the box arrived in the mail and was soaking wet when I found it. And so I left the box on the porch and took the contents out, and it blew over during the night. And apparently some baby birds that came out of their nest, but then couldn't get back out.
Oh,
Oh,
They fledged out. I got a little video. I'll send it to you guys. It was really cute. But I'm like, the parents were in the tree, like, let the babies go.
Oh, up in the box. Oh my
They're in
God.
the box, the upside down box. I don't know how they got themselves in there, but they weren't eager to leave. I mean, I turned it over and they're like, no, we're quite happy here. I'm like, okay, but the parents.
But the family is going crazy up in the trees.
Yes.
So I think since it is shortly after, is that Miss Diane? Well, hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to say I love you all, and if I stay on this call, I'll just cry. So,
What?
but I love you so much. You guys just fill me up, and Emily reads me a lot, and she keeps me up to date, and I'm not on my computer because now I have so many emails. I'm afraid to go on now.
Isn't that a freeing idea that you actually don't have to look at them? I mean, that sounds amazing to me right now.
That's how I need to look at it, Nicole. You're right. It's great. Well, ladies, I love
You want to
all.
hang in for 2 minutes just to get our little opening blessing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. All right, ladies. So, it is very interesting since we remember last time I told you guys about, well, Emily and I told you about Pat, the pony who had given us direction to really ask more of the elements to come in and all the powers that are available to us. And so I have been pretty diligent when I work with animals, because I do a balance every time, to change my calling in of the elements and support. And it has actually shifted one thing that I thought was interesting. Once in a while, if I was not in balance, I would use my trusty oils to bring balance to my chakras and to my system. And nowadays I always start off with calling in everybody else, the elements in particular. And it's interesting, I have not used an oil for myself to balance my chakras. I still utilize them for the animals when needed, but even there I ask, is this best to utilize the oils, or is it best, or oils and essences, or would this be better to be this particular situation supported by calling in the environment, elements, whatever powers there may be? And there's, I would say, 50-50 split. Hello, girly. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm just sharing this because I'm like, if you do any work to support your Reiki practice, your energy working practice, it might be interesting and to see what you guys experience by really, bringing the elements in. And if you already doing it and something shifted, maybe you can share it with us. But let's do a little opening ceremony, I guess what I'm gonna call it. So I'm asking right now, I got my pendulum here, and I'm asking right now, shall we utilize an oil? Shall we utilize the larger powers? Okay, larger powers. So we're doing that today. So I'm going to close my eyes. I invite you to also close your eyes and take a nice, beautiful, deep breath in through the nose and all the way into your belly. Like a nice little yoga breath, and exhale through the mouth. And we'll do it again one more time. Inhale and exhale. And as we inhale next, let's think about air and feel the air coming in through our nostrils. Feeling the beautiful billowing air going down into our system, providing nutrition and support. And as we exhale, blowing it out with an exhale that sinks us deeper and deeper into our body. And let's bring some blessings and gratitude to this beautiful, beautiful group of women that keeps connecting in ways nobody had expected, that is supporting individually and is supporting us as a group, that is sometimes right there in our face or in our ear, or for us to be seen as messages. And sometimes it's just the knowing of realizing that there is a group, that there are people who resonate with your soul, that resonate with your thoughts, that resonate. Hold on, let me just. Oof. Sorry, I just had to mute us all. That resonate with our deepest understanding of our world, that resonate with the love we have for horses, for the prairie, for animals and nature, and all the things that are yet unknown to us. I think this is one of those places where we can actually throw something into the middle of this beautiful group and say, I don't understand, but does anybody have an idea? And our questions will always be answered with integrity and beautiful support and compassion. And I would love to start our today, our group a little bit differently by all of us just thinking about one thing, and it's not, I don't mean this related for this group, but one thing that in the last week we have been grateful for. And so when it's your time to share where you're at, why don't you start with one thing you are grateful for? And I will begin right now. What I'm grateful for is that my relationship with Monarch has reached, wow, now the pendulum just stopped because we're switching. That my relationship with Monarch has changed. This is brand new for us here. Monarch actually a couple of days ago, last week actually, so it's probably a week now, picked David as his person. It was an amazing thing, and I will share that little piece of writing that I did with you sooner or later, hopefully sooner. But he contemplated at one point in the afternoon, looking at David, he said, you could be my person. Because Nicole has 2 horses and I don't have really anybody and you don't have anybody. So this could be a good deal. And he ended up picking David and explained to me why, because David is much more like himself. He's black and white. And, you know, I come sometimes with way too much knowledge into the pasture that is keeping us from connecting on a even deeper level. And so he says, you're still my translator, he told me, and you will, and of course we will stay connected and have things to do. But he kind of picked David. And I went first like, what? Are you kidding me? And then I went, shit, this is so exciting because I feel this is such a great choice because I picked David and I get it why you would pick David. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And let's just see what happens. And ever since, I am so much more light and curious, and the pressure's off, and we've had so many fun things, and he comes every day up to me and sniffs me up and down and sniffs my face, and he is much more curious, and it's like it feels like the pressure is off for everybody. And so that was a huge thing, and as crazy as it was, I'm so grateful because he also told me this is the twist to the story that nobody will expect in your book, Nicole. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. So what the heck? So that's what I'm grateful for because it's just such an amazing new part of my life now. And so there you have it. That's my sense of gratitude and the biggest news I have.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Male bonding.
Yeah, it's the dudes.
It must have been a surprise for David too.
You know what's funny? Of course, he's a dude. So the way it happened is David was shoveling sludgy snow away from the barn, and Monarch was like watching him, like head, like watching a tennis match, like head down, shovel up, over, down. He was doing this. And he had parked himself just so that the sludge would not spritz him. And David even said to me, isn't this funny how he is like standing there without spooking away or anything? And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of funny. And as I wanted to take a video of it because it was so cute, Monarch turns around, walks away, says, that's between us. And I'm like, oh. I stuck the camera back in my pocket. I went ahead again and kept mucking. He comes back, put himself back into the spot. And then the next thing he said, he could be my person. But it was even like a pondering, he could be my person. And so I told David, and I'm like, oh my God, Monarch just said, and David goes, well, I guess that makes sense. And I'm like, what? Like, that's it? And he's like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I'm like, oh, dude.
I love it.
Oh, too funny. Yeah, so there you have it. So who else has something unusual or something grateful to share?
I do.
Yay.
So I have to say that talking to all of you has greatly inspired me to do something a couple of weeks ago that before then I was just too scared to do it. But I've started to ride horses again. And
Oh, wow.
and we're taking it slow and being very careful. I am taking lessons, and I've already done a little trail ride, and it's just been awesome.
That's so wonderful.
Fabulous.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So is this a regular thing now? You're going to go?
Yeah, it is. Well, I guess as long as I want it to be. And the good thing is that it's not just riding horses. And I guess a lot of barns may do this, but they pretty much want me to do the whole thing. Like, tack them up, and then afterwards, take the tack off, groom them, get them back in the stall, clean the tack afterwards, the whole bit, which for me is good because I have been so far away from all of that for many, 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 many years that I really didn't know what I was doing and didn't even feel confident in doing a lot of those things. And I'm still learning, believe me. I have a long ways to go, but I just, for a long time, I mean, it's been almost 10 years. I just didn't think I would get back here again.
Oh, so
Wow.
That's
exciting.
awesome.
Fabulous.
So all of your encouragement, many conversations with Carrie and her horses supporting me, finally kind of all of a sudden just went out there one day and said, can I do this?
Oh, man, I think that's fabulous.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you.
great.
And it's so fun because, you have been, I think you told us that in this group here that you're volunteering at the rescue. So I
Yeah,
think
the
everybody knows that,
Rising
right?
Star.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun that you now have this reciprocal experience that you get to be with them and support them, and that you also get to, give them potentially, a great experience now again being ridden, because a lot of horses that come to a rescue, they were probably used to riding, and now it's like nothing happens anymore. And to offer them that, especially trail rides, how great is that?
Well, for me, it was especially comfortable that I had gotten to know some of the horses and some of the people. Um, so I knew that I trusted them, and I just asked them to be my teachers. I mean, the horses as well. I tell them all, as soon as I show up, I'm like, okay, so I'm still a newbie, and I need you as my teacher, and I need you to be patient, and I'm going to do the best I can, not to, mess with your mouth or bounce around too much, but be patient.
Oh my God. So you got to send us a picture with you on horseback.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. We need
Yeah,
that.
we want to see.
Well, next week I'm going to ride a really big guy, one of the biggest horses they have in the barn, although he is supposed to be very sweet. Not quite sure why they decided that's the one that I'm riding next week, but maybe we can get a picture of me on him.
Please. Oh,
And
that's so exciting.
Well, also just give a quick shout out to Nicole Miali because she was kind enough to publish a couple of articles that I had written about Rising Star in her Natural Awakenings magazine for Fairfield County. And that's helped Rising Star quite a bit, but it also brought me to a different place within the barn too, because a lot of people just kind of getting to know me, and it was a different side of me than they had seen before, and it seems to be positive. Now I get a lot more requests to work with this horse or that horse, or go out to the paddocks and work with them, that they believe that something is happening. I'm working with them and all this.
Ooh,
Nice.
cool.
That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great article. I don't know if you sent the article out to us as a link, or maybe Nicole. I don't know if you could do that, because it's such a beautiful article. Maybe, because if not, everybody would probably want to read it. Maybe that's an option to
Yeah,
send.
yeah. I'll,
Definitely.
definitely. I
Yay.
would love to. Yeah. What did you say, Nicole?
Her audio's messing up.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah, there's we split I had written one big thing, and we just split it into, she split into two different articles, which is great because one explains everything about Rising Star and Kelly, who's the founder and director. And then the other talks about specific cases that I've worked with, rescues as they've come in and the progress that they've made.
Wow.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So if you feel, I'm just wondering, because Nicole had a little issue, hearing us or connecting with us. So I always think maybe, or not, sometimes it's better if we mute one another, but I don't want to mute you all, because then you can't jump in and say something you want to say to the person speaking. But if you are not speaking, it might be best if you mute yourself and then, unmute to say something, because that way our system might be a little better or more clear. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. All right, who's next? Who has something fabulous to share?
I can go because I have to jump off soon. So Mom had to go back to work, but she said she's grateful for all of the colorful, vibrant flowers in her world around her.
Oh.
It's just so beautiful here with all the springtime coming. And I am grateful for all feel like I've been having a lot of new opportunities coming my way. I'm starting next week helping a woman's barn, and she has a donkey there, which is so exciting because I love donkeys, but I've never met one in person before. And I feel like I've just had a lot of new opportunities with the animals around me, and I'm very excited to see where it all goes.
So, what did you tell us a little more though? What, like anything specific that happened?
Well, I guess there's kind of just been a lot of things that's been happening. I found this little patch of woods that I've started to call the fairy circle right behind our house because it's all of these shrubs around it, but then in the middle of it, there's this, it's like an open patch of ground. So I started to make a little paddock for one of our horses to go out there and just kind of balance himself in the woods, which I think is going to be super exciting. So I've been working on it for the past couple days, and it'll probably take a couple more weeks, but I'm hoping to send a picture as soon as it's all done.
Wow, so for which horse?
For Thor, my little Icelandic.
Of course, your boy. Awesome. That's a cool thing. And I love that about the woods, grounding in the woods, because I mean, that's what happens, you know, for a lot of, I think for a lot of animals, dogs, I see that, and horses, you know, that pick certain trees. One of my clients, you know, the horses always pick a certain tree to stand under or something. And it's so fun to observe that. So this will be curious to see what he thinks about that spot.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's a fun thing. Yay.
That's amazing. And you're working with the elements. It seems to be the theme.
Oh,
You go
yes.
woods and work with the fairies and the elements. That's so cool, Emily. I can't wait to see the picture and to see you with the donkey.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So where is the donkey? At a friend's house, you said?
So yeah, it's this older woman who isn't really able, she just has a pony and then the donkey, but she needs some extra help during the weekdays, so I'm gonna pop over there in the afternoons. But,
So this is a gig for you.
oh yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, this will be interesting too, because I think donkeys and horses, there's quite a difference, and it will be interesting to see what you discover. So I can't wait for you to tell us. Fabulous. So who else wants to chime in?
I can jump in.
Yay.
So I close on my house on Monday. So I'm so excited. Yeah, we had closing from hell. It was unbelievable, but it was almost as soon as we signed, all these problems that happened at walkthrough went away. Like the oven wasn't working, the well water wasn't working. So we did actually a dry closing where we handed our money over and we had the deed, but the sellers weren't going to get their money until everything resolved. But like we got a phone call as soon as we finished signing saying it was like a power surge, everything's resolved. And yeah, so it was like, we went to the house, we did a sage ceremony, we set our intentions for every room. And I felt so connected to the house. Like I felt the spirit, and which is great because I'm so like, I love my home. My home is my sanctuary. I recovered from cancer here. I lost a kitty here. Like it has been amazing to me. I love, love, love my house. So I didn't think any house could ever like compare, but first of all, this is something Byron and I are doing together, and the house has such sweet energy. And 6.5 acres. It's a 3-stall barn, so we have perfect for the 3 horses we're going to bring over. And I love it. It's like this little pale yellow home. I mean, there's just so much. It has a beautiful view of a valley. It's breathtaking, and it has so much that we have to do. We just did radon remediation. We still have to put a furnace in. I mean, it's this little home improvement project for sure, but it's so super exciting. And we won't be able to actually, because of all the work that has to be done, we won't be able to move in until July 1st. But the next 2 months will be preparing my house for sale and getting that house ready for the dogs and the horses. And so it's super
Sounds like it's a nice way to ease in, especially since you still have your properties to, you know, deal with and things to shift. So it's kind of like almost you get to make it yours, you know, week after week after week, and then kind of move in. That is so cool. Oh, congratulations.
That's
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone here for your prayers and your blessings and your just holding the attention for it to happen, because it's been a lot. It's literally, it was January 27th when we went into this deal, so it's been a long process. But I'm excited. Yeah. So thank you all. Yeah.
You have to send us pictures.
I will. Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds amazing. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Carrie.
And you'll love living with the horses. There's nothing
Exactly.
like it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I can't wait.
It's going to bring everything to such a different level.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I mean, I see them, my guys, twice a day, but I don't make the decisions about when they go out or when they come in, and I want them out all the time. And so it's just, yeah, I'm super excited just to be able to open a door and see them, you know, not have to drive down the street. And I've been lucky. My barn is like literally 5 minutes down the road, you know, Nicole, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
No. And you know, it's also now your family will come together with the dogs and the, you know, all the people. I mean, there is such a difference. You know, it will be so interesting to see what are they thinking of Byron. You know, how often when he comes into the pasture, what are they doing? You know, like I see that here when, you know, when David comes with me, it's different than when I go by myself. I mean, there's just so many additional layers when you live together. You know, what the dog does, in my case cats, you know, that go out there, it's just incredible. It will be such a beautiful new experience, and so much. And you know, I always say to people when this happens, when there's a shift, either a new animal comes in or you change the environment like this, it's almost like if you have the opportunity to take 2 weeks off, and July kind of is potentially a time when you're not needing to be, right? So that is so perfect, because it's so much happens in the first 2 weeks. After that, we're back to routines in some way. But the first 2 weeks, if you can just sit and watch and notice what's happening, it's gonna be so rich to see how everything evolves and, you know, the connections that are being made.
No, well, you stay tuned, Nicole, because I'll probably be reaching out for animal communication sessions as we blend the dogs with the horses and Byron. It's going to be,
I know. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I was gonna say, you should do videos like Nicole does and walk us around with the video and show us live how your place is. I'd love to see it like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
That would be so
Love that
pretty.
idea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Pam. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank
You
you.
too, Pam. It's very good news. Very exciting.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies, I'm so sorry, but I have to step out and go help in the barn. But it was so nice to talk to you all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Emily.
Bye, Emily.
Have a
Bye,
great day.
sweets. Bye. Awesome. So who else has something beautiful to share?
Well, while we're on home changes, I missed last Prairie Girls call because out of the blue, literally based on a Facebook post that I happened to see at the right moment, the day of the last Prairie Girls call, I was headed up to Ancrumdale, New York, which is where I was planning to buy a barn, hoping to buy a barn, and had found a property. And instead, over the course of those 3 days, managed to get myself into a situation where I am renting the equestrian facilities on a 600-acre dairy farm in the Hudson Valley. It is stunningly beautiful, and they're building an apartment above the barn. So I will have this apartment. I will be living above the barn with the horses. And I'll send some pictures. It's the most beautiful country I've ever seen. The people who own it are lovely. And have been good friends with my colleagues up there. Their farm is less than 10 minutes away, and I've done corporate equine facilitated learning with them, and they've known this couple for 26 years. So they vouched for, like, these are really good people. And
Wow.
I'm dairy farmers, and the couple that runs the dairy farm, they are lovely people. And it is all for less than the cost of my current monthly property tax bill.
Oh my gosh.
It is like, it's a dream come true. And especially, I mean, it would be a dream come true, period, but especially with the COVID situation and how that has impacted at the moment my income, I wasn't at all sure how I was going to get the financing to buy the new place anyway. Because if we hadn't had COVID, it wouldn't have been a problem. But with COVID, I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to get the mortgage. And I was starting to question how all of this was going to play out. And then this just amazing thing happened that is beyond a dream come true. If I had had millions of dollars and a magic wand, I don't think I would have come up with a place as stunningly beautiful as this place, and 10 minutes from where I was looking to buy. So, I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing. So I'm
Wow.
very grateful.
When will you be moving?
In the fall, because they have to they're building the apartment now. There is no apartment, which is why my friends up there did not know. They knew that the barn was for rent, but there was no place to live, and they knew I needed a home. So that's why they hadn't mentioned it to me. But the guy who was trying to rent the barn, the owner finally decided he wasn't going to get anybody to rent the barn unless he built living space, but he hadn't kind of told anybody he was doing that. And he had a friend of his posted on Facebook, so it wasn't even under his name. It was just this little post. But if I had found the farm up there that I wanted to buy, I wouldn't have joined the Facebook page for the horse forum in that area, but I did just so I get to know the area. And I just happened to see it like the day, right at the perfect time. So it worked out.
What a serendipitous event.
Absolutely. I think good Prairie Girl energy helped with that serendipitous event.
That's so cool.
Congratulations, Carrie. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is fabulous, yeah.
We'll need pictures too, Carrie.
Oh, I will send some. My jaw dropped when he said, "Oh, let me take you to the riding ring." And we walk up this little rise. I mean, it's not hard to walk up. It's like 8 steps, just up a little thing. And then the valley opens below you. You can see for miles. And he's like, yeah, there's Connecticut, there's Massachusetts, there's this. And I just couldn't even process. Like,
And there's North Dakota.
It is very reminiscent of the prairie when you stand up there in this riding ring, because you're looking out over the valley. It reminds me of when we stopped there on that rise and we're looking over all the prairie. I mean, it's just stunning. You will all have to come visit.
That's awesome.
You will.
Excellent.
Love to.
And like I said to you, Carrie, I am just so glad that this happened, because Carrie had found this other property that was really cool. I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff. And somehow in the aftermath of looking at it, I kept thinking, oh man, this is a lot of work, because I owned a place just like it. And it's like the painting never stops, the fence boards fixing never stops, the mowing never stops, the whatever not. So I was in the aftermath thinking, well, I hope, but she has volunteers usually, blah, blah, blah. When you told me this about this place, I'm like, oh my God, thank God, because you are not responsible for the 600 acres, but
Nope.
just for your spot. Because, you can get so caught up in the work of a large property that you barely enjoy it. That's the thing. And we are not farmers. We might think we are, but when it comes down to it, we're probably not. And, our enjoyment is so much more about being with the animals than fixing their environment. So I think this is just such a blessing. It's amazing.
Lovely.
Thank you.
A lot of new horizons going on for people. New opportunities. That's so cool.
Absolutely.
So who else has something gorgeous to share?
I'll try. Let's see if the audio seems to be working better now. Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Thank you for muting, guys, because I think that was the difference. I don't, all of a sudden it was like, oh, I can hear people again. But Stacy, I love what you just said, because that's exactly that's my jumping off point. Because what I'm grateful for this week, actually for the last several weeks, I feel like I finally, these last couple weeks, had the opportunity to slow down and rest a little and heal a little. And that was good, because there's more letting go and more losses and more transitions happening. So I think I needed a little grace period so I could handle that. So yeah, huge transition, but I'm really grateful, because while it's scary to live in that sort of empty place between what was and what's coming, I am so clear that what's coming is going to be right for me and that I am still safe and protected, even though I have no idea what's going on. So I'm just, you know, and I have so much support and I just feel really grateful for everything, you know, that's going on right now, even though sometimes it feels really difficult. So it's been, are 100% funded by small businesses. So as this epidemic and as this crisis has deepened, my businesses, my 2 magazines have really gotten to the point where I don't know if I can put out June editions. Or I may be able to put out June editions, but I can't take any income from them. So then it becomes just a service project, which is in and of itself a very worthwhile thing, but is that really where I want to spend my time right now?
Yeah.
Or would I rather spend my time building whatever my future is going to be? So lots of uncertainty, but I feel like I have so many strong touchstones, you know, this group being one, the writing group, another, which gave me a chance to express some of the stuff that was coming up as it was happening even. I'm part of another healing group. We haven't been able to meet in person since February, but we're still meeting occasionally, and that's been really helpful. And the space I'm in, the living situation is still a little bit odd. And you know, I'm fairly certain it's not a long-term thing, but that's
Oh,
okay.
how come?
It's
Like, because I think like every angle in your house looks so amazing. I'm always like, oh, the red wall. Ooh, look at that painting. So what is the deal? Tell us. Why do you think this is odd?
well, the landlord, I haven't had much contact with him in the past week, but the week prior he had finally come clean, so to speak, and declared that he's madly in love with me, and that's in fact why he has helped me all along. And I said, well, I asked you on many occasions before I got here what your expectations were, what your plans were, what you were expecting from me. Like, I asked in so many different ways, and you just kept saying, I just want you to be happy and healthy. And he said, yeah, and that's true. I just want you to be happy and healthy. But the reason I'm doing it is because I'm in love with you. But it doesn't need to change anything.
Oh my God.
Um,
So the only thing you need to do is marry me. Otherwise, we're good.
well, he did finally stop trying to give me money, because every time he came over, he was opening his wallet trying to hand me money, and I just felt really uncomfortable about that. And he kept, you know, not because I need the money. So there's part of me that's like, yeah, great, you know, manna from
Oh my
heaven. But I
God.
kept thinking, what's behind this? Like,
Yeah.
where are the strings? And then I would, you know, try to catch myself and say, well, you know, maybe it's just a miracle. Maybe there are no strings. And I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. So after he declared himself and swore again, because I said, I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not going to be your girlfriend. I'm not a gold digger. I'm not interested in your money. I could care less. All I ever wanted was a safe place to stay for a period of time. I said, so if you're looking for anything else, it's not going to happen. So I've been so clear. And the next time I spoke with him, he didn't make any untoward moves or statements or anything like that. But he did say, it's been 5 days since I heard from you. Well, how often do I need to talk to you? I don't
Oh
have
my
anything to
God. Yeah.
whole week. I purposely let time stretch because I'm kind of testing where the boundaries are, like where he, you know, because I get the impression that as long as I do what he wants within reason, there's no issue. But he may keep changing the rules. So
Yeah.
it's not a stable situation.
Yeah.
So, and at first that really freaked me out. And I thought, oh my God, you know, I stopped unpacking. I stopped giving my boxes away and just saved them in the garage in case I needed to move again pretty quickly. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's going to be an immediate thing. I'm quite clear that my next move is a really big one. I'm moving out of state. I'm moving much further away. I don't know where yet. So that part is still forming, but I know I go from here to there. I'm not moving again, you know. So like I said, I'm just grateful. I mean, I'm grateful that I'm here anyway. I mean, this was a getting here was a miracle.
Yeah.
So every piece of it that's unfolding is just kind of like, okay, that's not what I expected, but okay.
Bless your heart. I mean, that is just such a challenge. I mean, I would be beside myself because this is like one of those, God damn it, there are always conditions. What the fuck, because it's just like, oh.
Well, I definitely went through that. And I literally, when he declared himself, I literally just stared at him and said, I don't know what to do with that. You've been talking about me moving here for 6 months and now you're telling me? I'm like, yeah, no, And he said, well, I figured you'd have figured it out. And I said, no, that was never on my radar. Not at all, And so, and there's also an element of that that's had me looking back at past patterns, because it's not the first time in my life that a man in my life, whether I knew him well or slightly, it sort of came out of the blue and made this massive declaration. And I was kind of like, huh? I had no idea you felt that way. And so I've been writing about that and kind of working on that a little bit. And I think I'm clearing a past pattern. Hopefully this is the last time you get poleaxed like that, because it's a weird feeling, especially if you don't reciprocate. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm playing a little bit of a delicate game, I think. But I'm taking the lesson from Possum. I've had almost nightly visitations. I have a possum that lives in the yard, but Shiloh and I had a very intense encounter with it a few weeks ago. And I was out there, it was laying there. I couldn't tell if it was injured or dead. I didn't think it was injured, but I couldn't tell if it was still alive. And so I sat out there with it and I gave it energy. And then I just watched it from in the house. And all of a sudden it looked like it was having convulsions. And then it got up and it waddled off into the forest. And instantly I got it. Instantly I got, okay, I'm supposed to deal with this situation like a possum would. Right? Possum doesn't survive by fighting unless it absolutely has to. It plays dead. It just, until the adversary loses interest, and then it just gets up and does its own thing. And so I'm just keeping the lesson of possum very forefront right now in dealing with my landlord. And interestingly, after that encounter, I've only seen the possum again twice. So it was coming every night, like, are you getting it? Are you getting it? Are you getting it?
Message received.
And now it just comes around to remind me.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, so
So
fast.
yeah, just grateful for all of these synchronicities and opportunities, and just trying to stay in the moment and not let my ego mind scare me into thinking that we're not okay, because I know that we really are.
Yeah. Well, and I want to give you a shout out also in terms of gratitude. Some of, I think I mentioned it in the writing group, but so Nicole has been helping me actually with my book. She read through it and gave the Horse Logic book a great once over. And it's really cool. I have to say that, I'm grateful that she did it, that you did it. And it was beautiful because it really, when you work with an editor, you kind of learn also how the editor thinks. And the question you asked about, does this make sense? Or shouldn't this be there? Or here, this is not quite so clear, was so helpful. And I'm saying this right now because I know we have several people here that are writing, Stacy, Andrea, Emily, obviously, Libby, I'm trying to think who, well, obviously Carrie and, everybody, Karin, who was in the group. But I don't wonder if there is also another opportunity for you, Nicole, to help people edit. I don't know if you're sick of it, but that's certainly something that I think you have a real skill for, to tap into the spirit of the work. Right? Not just like the, oh yeah, let me see, there's a comma missing, or we need a synonym for this because you're repeating the same word. It's about the spirit of the work. And so I just want to give that feedback also to you and see. I don't know if that's of interest to you, but to me it was
is.
helpful, and there might be a whole nother opportunity because you have that skill and worked in that field for so long.
Yes,
So
it absolutely is. And thank you so much for the opportunity to work on it, because that's what I learned in the process, is how much I loved it. And I've always loved working with the writers who submit pieces. And I've always enjoyed that process, but it's always been just a very small part of what I did as a publisher. And I was actually talking to a friend this weekend. We went for a walk with Shiloh, and I was telling her how much I was enjoying working with you on this book. And she said, "Oh, well, I'm writing one. I would love to work with you on it." And I said, "Okay." And so this is one of the breadcrumbs. Like, I feel like the trail is being laid for me as far as what I'm going to do next. And it is obviously writing and editing in a different way than I've done it before.
cool.
And I love that, and I'm just, yeah, really excited. And thank you for the opportunity to do it, because I didn't know. It's the first time I ever edited something quite like that. But I found it very, was just like, oh yeah, I know, so it was
Well,
really
it came
fun.
with ease, it sounds like, and that's
Yes,
what you want, right?
exactly.
It's about time that ease moves in with you.
From
Or
your
you
lips to
move
God's
in with
ears.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
cool.
Can I
Awesome.
jump?
Woo,
Can I
goosebumps.
jump in on that one?
Sure.
It's interesting with all this diary note taking that I'm doing with my exchange with Lee on the streets. It's such a unique experience of integrating with people and what's happening between us as far as a friendship and the whole 9 yards. And I feel like there's a book in it somehow. And it's like, it's so personal that it would take somebody on our group, because we're more aligned in emotion and compassion and that type of thing. Like, I just keep thinking, like, who am I gonna, is it book worthy? Is this nonsense, to put out there? Would it help somebody? And it's like, who would I give it to edit? Because it's so personal that I think it would take a person like yourself that is so in touch with all the ranges of emotion and being holistic and that type of thing. And it's like, oh my God, that to me would be like a gift, because it's embarrassing for me I've never journaled my entire life. And I started a couple years ago, kind of hit and miss. This one has become consuming for me. It's like I have to sit down and write down these exchanges because they're so, I don't know, they're just so unique. And it's what this kid has triggered in me and what I've triggered in him. And it's this whole dance that's going on that is so fascinating to me, and what it's allowed me to do and express on paper. And I would have never in my life have done that. I would have never vocalized or even confessed of like why I got triggered that way. I'm a Scorpio. I keep things really tight about myself, and it's like, I'm not sharing that with anybody, and it's like, it's the most unique gift. Well, here, I guess this would be my gift of what's been going on, is the uniqueness of this experience. But now that you're saying that, Nicole, I'm like, I don't know when this storyline is going to fade out, but right now I keep thanking in my notes for the COVID, because I have never been this expressive about my own things. And it's like, so that part of it has been a blessing. And it's like the days just run off into oblivion, and I do this or that. And I sit down and write at night for a couple hours. And it's only like maybe a page and a half on paper, but it's the processing of thinking that has intrigued me as well, as like kind of reliving the movie of the day and then getting it down on paper. So it's been quite an interesting process, but I'm going to definitely keep you in mind. So hopefully you won't be too famous by then.
Yeah, please do. And I actually had already spoken with Andrea about it also, and said, if she was interested in doing that, because her stories are the start of something like that. And so I said, if you are interested in
kind of
pursuing that, I'm happy to help. Yeah,
okay.
And Stacey, I know what you mean. Expressing those really deeply personal things is very difficult for me also. And I've talked to Carrie about this because she's my idol when it comes to being able to be vulnerable and
Yeah.
expressive. And I read her amazing posts sometimes and I'm just like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. And I wish I had your courage, you know. And I've been being nudged, the Spirit's been nudging me for years to do more, to say more. And I'm finally less afraid.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is definitely a process.
Oh, it's been unnerving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if we have COVID for another 3 months. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is the most time I've actually ever taken for myself.
Yeah.
To process, because I mean, I'm sure most of us have started working at a very early age, and it's always been work to survive and not, or be there for somebody else, or you taking care of people or family or whatever, or you become whatever role you're playing in your relationship. And mine was always like put my nose to the grindstone to keep things floating. And I'm like, I have never had the opportunity to just sit and hang and process this stuff. It's like, this has been a gift. So I'm not so sure, how I'm going to go back to work when I am. It's going to be a very different part of me that goes back to work. And I didn't mean to like jump off into the space here.
No,
So if you,
it's okay.
it's
It's all good.
But yeah, so it's been very interesting, and I think the energy of kind of allowance, I don't know if that's the right word, of allowing the process to happen I'm very grateful for also. And the energy even in the apartment, I live in a triple decker. The second floor moved out. And they used to take care of my cat when I would go away, so I kind of freaked out. I'm like, oh God, they know my cat, I trust them with my cat. I'm like, oh my God. And we have a younger couple that are on the third floor, and it's always been very kind of reserved and kind of, hi, how's it going? And we just don't engage. And last week, the couple on the third floor, they're very inviting people, and they had a little barbecue downstairs out back, and they invited me to stop and chat and get to know each other. And they invited the second floor people that literally just moved in that day. And it's the first time in 4 years anything collective has ever happened on a social level in this house. And I was like, oh my God, the energy's shifting in such a positive way, so it's like there's more social stuff going on too. And I was just grateful for that too, to just engage. And they're younger, they're college grads and whatnot, and they're all, as I call it, very cerebral. And I kind of melt and go like, they all have, but they are very warm, funny people. And I'm like, be the elder in the group, if you will. And it's kind of funny.
Who will be the one that will expand their horizons, I imagine.
But it's been great, so it's been a very interesting
Communal. It sounds like it's
very
communal. Nice.
Yeah.
Because you were missing that,
Yeah.
And Stacy, I want to go for a second to the beginning when you said you're not sure that, I forget the word you used, but whether there'd be any value in sharing what you've written or whatever. So I have to say that the reason that, like Nicole said, that, the reason it looks like I'm courageous, because I'm really not, is because every time I've posted something personal, the responses that I get back are incredible. And they're private responses. But like whenever I think you share a piece of yourself in that way, it's always terrifying. But you will touch so many people, because you asked whether it would help people. You will touch a lot of people. Even in these little Facebook posts, I have been amazed at what comes back. And the more personal what I put out there is, the more intense what comes back. And mostly it's people saying, thank you so much for making me either feel comfortable having these feelings or giving me something to think about. Or, I mean, the first time I put something out about my mother's suicide, I got so many responses back, people who had suicide in their family and never told anyone. And felt somehow, personally responsible or ashamed in some way or something. And so anyway, the point is not to make this about me, but the point is to say that there is, whenever you share something like that, it will be profound because it is so authentic. And just what you've shared with us, I think about what goes on with you and would love to hear more about it. So I will definitely buy that book. Just what you've shared in our groups has touched me so deeply. So I just want to encourage you, do not waste any time thinking about whether this is worthy of sharing. It absolutely is.
Oh, thank you. You know, and I think I mentioned maybe the last time we talked about like my vision of the sanctuary type situation that I want to create. And there, I got a live taste of it last week. And it was a very spontaneous move by spirit. I had picked up Lee. He's been still fighting with he's fighting his addictions, and he wanted to go to detox. So he got an appointment, he got a bed at detox. So I took him to detox, and then I picked him up last Sunday, and he was just in a really solemn space. And I was like, oh man, I need to take him to a place that I go to. It was just like, boom, I got to take him here, whether he feels good or not. So I was driving, and I asked him on the road, I said, I'd like to take you to the spot if you're okay with it, just for a few minutes, because it's just really pretty. And I took him down there. He agreed, and he said yeah. So I took him down to this place, and it opened up a floodgate of emotion for him. And he's like never been able to express the things that he expressed. And it was just, I just knew it was like, it was that point in time of like, he just needed something. It was it's like a reservoir that I went to, and he just needed that space. And there was also something personal for me at that place that I shared with him, and it triggered an opening for him. And then we went and sat down by the water and whatnot, and I just let him keep talking and whatever. And it was so profound. And I'm like, I told him, I said, you know, I have a vision of a sanctuary to do what we just did. And I kind of verbalized it, and I was like, man, that was live and living color. And it was just like, it was so fulfilling, you know. And I was like, man, it was really awesome. And he just has such expression of emotion and with me. And he goes, I can't tell anybody else except you. He goes, I don't know what you do. So it's been a very beautiful exchange of watching somebody just go through their process. And he's also helping me with my processes on stuff. So I was like, man, that was the core of the sanctuary. And I actually have the name of the sanctuary. I got it like 2 or 3 years ago. It came down. So I have the name of what I want to do and the kind of a company name. And I just like, Nicole, it's like, I don't know where, when, property. And it's the same with you, Carrie. It's like this property just appeared out of nowhere where it became an affordable situation, because I have a visual, but how does that come about? You know, and we have to just trust that it just gave me that. It hooked me. And I was like, oh my God, this is possible. This is exactly the work that I really want to go into and make it work. And I was just like, I felt so privileged to be able to be part of that process for him. But,
well, what's amazing is you got the emotion about it. You know, that's always in visualizing the important piece. Can you emote it? And you got to be in that emotion of feeling what you did and how it would feel to offer this type of thing in a special piece of environment of some sort. I mean, that's just such a gift to have had that manifest in your body.
Yeah, it was tremendous. And I saw him yesterday, and the book that I gave you, Nicole, with the Nakota trip, because I talk about you guys, I told him, I said, I have shared, you know, that we're working together and whatnot. And he said, oh, that's great. And I said, you know, I buffer it. I said, I'm not giving any personal, you know, information. He says, no, that's okay. And he says, if you trust them, you can share what you feel is right. And I said, oh yeah, no, they're my clan, you know. And so I brought the book to him yesterday, because most of it's about him expressing his day. It's like his soap opera, and he's just got to let it out. So I just listened. So yesterday I brought the book to him, and I said, I want to share something with you. And I said, I told you about the Nakota girls and the Prairie Girls. And I said, I just want you to see my other part of my life and what I experienced. And he took time to look through the book, and he's like, that is just so amazing. And he's just like, that's so cool that you got to do that. So it was like really neat to be able to like expand you guys to his life. And I said, see, you've got a whole clan out there asking about you. You know, and I was like, and it just kind of, it's another connection. It's just another form of connecting. And and support. So those are the things I am grateful for this past couple weeks.
That's so
Wow.
cool, Stacy. Wow, thank you. And I see that actually Miss Lacey joined us, and I know since she's a little bit potentially under time pressure, you want to say hi, girl? We're talking about what we're grateful for.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Stacy.
How you doing?
We are doing barn work. But I'm just about done. So, but I figured I would hop on here. I'm also cold, so I'm grateful for this hat and my jacket today. So in talking about what we're grateful for, I'm grateful that I get to do this still. I was taking care of the horses for a couple of months on my own, and I loved it. And similar to, I just caught the tail end of what Stacy was saying about some property, or about doing like a sanctuary type of thing, and kind of getting a taste of what that would feel like for her. And I would love to have my horses. Well, I only have one horse now, but horses at my house one day. And so I kind of got a taste of what that would be like, taking care of the farm. So I had the privilege of doing the care, but not having to pay for it right now. So I'm grateful that I get to do that, and that my farm owners are so understanding, and that they are willing to let me still come and help. And I still bring my dog. My dog's sitting on the seat next to me. I don't know, there's a lot. I'm grateful for this pause. It's going to be, like Stacy had said, it's going to be tough going back to normal work, for sure. I'm enjoying my creativity and making things and doing stuff in the house that I haven't been able to do. I'm grateful for all of you. My friends, and of course my husband, even though he drives me nuts sometimes. But that's to be expected. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I got to go out to North Dakota, because that was life-changing. There's a lot. Oh, Mark's coming. I know he's coming. Say hello.
So you're doing well, it sounds.
Yeah, I know. He's being so mean. Go ahead. You want to say hi to Mark? Go ahead.
Are you gonna show us where Dooley is?
Oh yeah, I'll take you guys out. See him.
Yeah,
He's actually right.
let's meet him.
Dooley, you want to say hello?
A windy day, but
Can I switch? Oh, I can. Switch the camera. Jules, want to come say hello? He's like,
not so much. It's like, I got hay.
Want to say hello to the girls? Hi. Hello. Where's the?
Hold on. Oh, there.
Say hello.
There he is.
Hi.
He looks so dark.
Hello.
Oh, handsomeness. He is
Yeah.
he's such a ranch horse.
Yeah. He'll shed out, so I know he looks really dappley, if you guys can see, but he sheds out and he'll be just one color, probably in a month. Hi. Say hello.
He's like, I'm busy.
Hello to everyone. There's his buddy Tux. Yeah. Food.
They have such a nice big pasture. I forgot about that.
We have what?
Such a nice big pasture.
Yeah. Oh, I had connected to my other phone, so my Wi-Fi. I'm walking with my Wi-Fi, so now I can hear you. Yeah, we have this is a one small field, and then there's a mare, the new mare over in that smaller field over there. You can see her with her blanket on. This is Tuxie. Hi, Tux. And then we have these geldings are out together. Hi. He's so sweet. You good boy.
Oh, that's so nice to see you, horsey.
Yeah, he's so cute. And then we have these guys out in this paddock. There's 4 of them. We have a mare, 3 geldings. You can see Maya, Cisco,
Yeah.
Reggie, and hi, Jules. Coming to say hello. Out there, and then over to this side, over the fence, there's another 2-acre field over there, but there's too much grass out there right now, so they need to be weaned and probably taken turns. And Bowie thinks he's a horse, so he eats grass or eats hay with them.
Oh.
Are you coming to say hi too? Oh, it's so funny. He'll lay in the piles of hay and he'll just eat the hay
Oh my God, that's so cute.
with them. Right? Okay.
Thank you for giving us a farm tour.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I know you guys hear so much about them, so. He's being a good boy. Oh, this is your pooping spot. Sorry.
Awesome.
There's our little mare, the other mare who just came the other day. Hi, Ting. Are you gonna come say hello?
Oh my God, look at us. We're like horse magnets.
Hello. You going to say hello? Hello. She's so funny because she's probably the only horse I've seen so far she's a thoroughbred. Her neck is too short, so she eats like a foal. She's got to like spread her front legs out.
Oh no. That's so weird.
I'm sure. Yeah, her neck is really short and she has really, really long legs.
Oh my God, that's so bizarre.
Weird, yeah.
You're trying to make friends too.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone said that that's normal sometimes for thoroughbreds. Oh, everybody is here.
Look at this. Oh my God. It's the circle of friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Please don't make funny noises and squeal. All right, I'm out of here since you guys need to do that.
Well, thank you for the update, darling.
Yes, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Good
Love
to
seeing the animals. That's great.
Yes.
Thanks for seeing all those horses. Thank you.
I'm gonna I live like 2 minutes from here. I'm gonna go home and make something to eat, and then I'm gonna hop back on and see if you guys are still on here. I don't know who else needs to go because I can't see you all since I'm on my phone.
Yeah, cool. Do that.
Yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet, so.
All right. Skip on home and call us back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see you guys when I'm there.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So we still have a few people to go.
I'll jump in.
Yay.
One quick comment is when I hear about Carrie's new place and Pam's new place, and Nicole, you see my new place, the word that describes these properties to me is that they are in expansive settings.
Yeah.
And my guess is that Stacy's sanctuary and Nicole's place are going to be similar. It's just we're landing in these places that have wide open views and no limits and lots of opportunities to grow. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take ownership to that. Thank you.
Yeah, Stacey, I think the place is going to be great. And Debbie, I'm thrilled.
Sounds great.
I'm envious because I want to be in a horse, but I will be soon somehow. So
I
congratulations.
know you will be. I know.
So what I'm grateful for this week is I ended up connecting with a couple of teachers that I've had in the past because they're suddenly offering webinars and stuff like that. And they're both great. They're sort of talking the same sorts of things. But one of them that I'm really just jazzed about is my dowsing geomancy shaman teacher, I guess, in Vermont, who's very down-to-earth kind of guy. And he's revisiting some stuff that I learned from him years ago, but it's just lighting it up for me this time about how we live in a world that's all energy and we're all interconnected and we're all one. And we have this ability to connect with the landscape at levels that are mind-blowingly exciting. And I liked Emily's little fairy circle in the woods because that brought it to mind. But he explains that basically we live in a vibrational world, and everybody around us we're all vibrating at certain frequencies. But as far as nature and the landscape goes, there are unseen intelligences and consciousness levels that we can connect with. And he does this routinely because he helps, he helps clear houses and farms and that kind of thing, but he also helps farms increase crop production and restore water in the wells and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm probably going to babble about this because it's so big and so complex, it's still swirling around my head. I'm not too articulate. But a couple of things. Pam mentioned saging her house. There's a spirit of the house that you can connect with. There's a spirit of the barn where your horses are that you can connect with. There's the spirit of place for your landscape. And you can talk to the Davic levels of the collective consciousness of the trees, or you can talk to individual trees. He's got stories of people putting a weather bubble over their farm to protect it from hail during haying or tornadoes or that kind of thing. So anyway, the point being is there is so much amazing possibilities for us to interact, connect and collaborate, not only with each other, but with the landscape and the other beings around us. And I think basically aren't too many limits, and it's really liberating to think about what can happen. As he said, you go out and you can just whisper to the fairies in your garden. But he ended up teaching you tools on how to do this sort of thing, which we all know innately because our humans have been doing it since we showed up.
Hence Emily.
Yes, right. She hasn't got as much stuff on top of it as we do.
Yeah.
But it's all stuff we can learn. So I'll be more articulate next time, but that's what's got me all excited again.
You know, it's so interesting. It's like you started the whole thing about, that these properties are coming into our world that are expansive. And so is this right now, what you're experiencing again. It feels to me like that is even, someone who might not live yet in that space, you're showing the way to look at this as an expansion as we start to integrate our connection with nature in a different way. So that's cool. And I actually want to say, like when Libby got the property, because she and I talked about these things a lot, and I have spoken with my property where to put the barn and which trees not to remove, or the property has told me where to remove stuff to expose things that I had no idea were there. And so when Libby bought her property, we walked around and there was this one area, it was so interesting, right away where we walked and I'm like, oh, here's vortex energy. This is like you can't destroy this right now. You have to live this first and get to know this part of your property, because she was going to get some work done, septic, or I forgot what it was. And I'm like, oh, I hope these people are not messing with this particular spot on your land. And it is so fun to go through your yard with that type of perspective, and to really honor and have conversations with trees. And you are so good at it. You have so many conversations with nature. So this is just exciting that you're back with this teacher and you're tapping back into that, because I think you have such a unique because you're so interested in it, you can make this accessible to us, because you're also the scientist in some ways, right? Because you studied biology, but you are also the one that is branching out in this field. And so who better than you to tell us about it? And I never feel it's bobble. It's just like, oh, wow, a new thing to learn.
Yeah, Libby, I'd love for you to teach us a whole thing about that, or send us information, at least send me information about your teacher. But I think you could teach it. It would be super.
Right. Thank you. It's really neat. And one thing I like about my teacher is that he gives enough science I mean, quantum physics is proving all this stuff at this point. So it's my friend Jennifer's taking it too, and Nicole knows her. We're both trained in biology or science. So you have to give your brain enough facts so it shuts up, the rational brain. And then the other half can say, well, okay, now I've got the microphone that's talk. And he does a really good job of bringing in both parts, and that helps me accept it's like, well, of course, because your intuitive mind knows it to begin with. You just have to get your rational mind to quiet down. But anyway, thanks for the encouragement. I don't know where I'll go with it, but the other thing I want to say is Nicole pointed out when we had a recent discussion with PJ, my cat, PJ's pointed out several energy spots on the property to me. So listen to your animals.
Yeah, that's for Pam.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Pam, you will have that opportunity to see. That's one of those things to observe. Where are they drawn to? Are they staying away from some areas even? And then you could do some energy work on that part of the property.
And one thing you said, Nicole, about your horse standing under a tree, at the old barn I was at, there was one particular apple tree that the owner said the horses stood under. And when Patrick came, he said, oh, there's probably a dryad in there, which is a little nature spirit living in the tree. How cool is that? Anyway, it's fun.
Oh, so cool. That's awesome. That's good news. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who else?
Well, I'd like to go if I could.
Yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
darling. Long time no
Right.
see.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for the love and support that everybody gave me through my father's passing, and for all the well wishes for my birthday. That was really lovely. It was quite helpful. So thank you. And other than that, everything pretty much at the barn has been status quo. I mean, it's just basically going in, taking care of the animals all day. And, so I'm grateful though that they've been healthy and everything's been going well there.
Yay. Good for you.
Still have no idea. Yeah, well, we still have no idea what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's just myself and this other girl, and then we do have one of the volunteers that's been coming down and helping us out. So, but it's just weird because we're just doing the thing, and it's like they're not our horses, and we're like, well, now what do we do? It's crazy. But my other boss, my massage therapy boss, texted me last night and asked me what schedule I want when they open on the 18th. And I'm thinking to myself, is she kidding right now? Is she really planning on opening on the 18th? Because
of May?
I don't see it.
Wow.
I don't see it happening. I can't believe she even asked me for my schedule, and they do a lot of, like, they're estheticians and everything, so I can't see them opening, but she put it out there, so. And
it's interesting, I'm just realizing you are one of the people, I think you're the only one I know personally who had actually a COVID case. Literally, I mean, with your dad. Yeah. So for you, this is like truer than for most, the reality is just so right there that you would have to probably think about this quite a bit. Wow. Yeah, I feel for you. I mean, that's
what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even, I think I had told you, I really don't think I even want to go back to massage therapy. I actually just drove down here. I'm at the villa right now, which I've talked to you about. This is where I do my own massage therapy out of here, and I do, Reiki and energy work. And this is where I want to start my equine business. But it's just, I was at my house and I just couldn't have a clear head. It's just too much. It's too mucky over there. I couldn't even think. So I drove down here. The lady that actually owns this, her and her husband are in South Carolina, and they can't come home, so they're stuck down there. So I asked her if I should come and check the place out. She said, yeah, sure, go right ahead. But there's people, I think she has people coming in and out of here checking on it anyway. But for all you that were looking for a place to come do something, I'm thinking of doing some retreats out of here if anybody would want to come and join me. It's a lovely, place. It's on 85 acres, 2 miles of walking trails, 3 haying fields. She's got a barn that she does birthday parties and weddings out of and all that. And it sleeps 10. So I'm here right now in the gathering room, which
It's
is
kind.
I
I've
call it
never
the
seen it on the inside. This is a cool place, Claire.
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And she's putting a lamp. This is a little kitchen, little nook here.
Wow, this is a fun place.
Oh yeah. And then she's got a whole basement. She's even got a potter's wheel downstairs and stuff. They were putting in a light. She's told me they were putting in a light in the dining room here. We used to do yoga in here, but now she's got this beautiful table. And I'll show you my room real quick, and then I'll bring you outside and give you a real quick tour of just the back one field. So this is my massage room.
Ooh, nice.
I don't know if you can see it very
Oh,
well.
you have a John of God
And
table,
then
huh?
we have yeah,
Nice.
we do have a John of God table.
Huh.
And then we have a little laundry room here. So, I mean, the potential here is just unbelievable. And nothing ever happens here. It's crazy. How could it not happen? But, yeah, so then back to the gathering room. And then this used to be my massage room over here. So she's got bed set up. And then we have 3 bedrooms upstairs. They all have 2 twins. Then there's another full bath upstairs. And then she has a handicap bathroom on the entrance. And I'll just bring it out real quick. I don't want to take up all the time, just giving you a tour. Handicap ramp into the garage. This is the front looking out to the street. And that's her house over there. That's where they live. So nobody lives here.
Is this in Middleborough
I want
or
to.
what's the town?
Yep, right over the line. It's right near the Middleborough Rotary. This is one of her. This is going to be an herb garden, or it was. I don't know if she's going to do it again this year. That's runoff, I think, from the roof.
In
And
Massachusetts?
then that's the. What's this? Yep,
Is this
yep.
Massachusetts?
And that's the barn. Yeah, this is out by. It's 30 miles south of Boston, 30 miles north of Rhode Island. Like 30 miles from the Cape. So it's like pretty good centrally located. That's her little vegetable garden. And that's the field I could always picture my little Sunny Bunny in. Over there is where the river cuts through. The river wraps right around the whole property. And there's a 100-acre on the other side, CSA. So they do all organic farming. And then we have a deck here. So yeah, got a lot of possibilities. And then there's another huge, oh my God, the wind's starting up again. It was snowing here a little bit ago. Yeah, and then there's another huge haying field out the back. You can't really see it from here, but it's down this little road. It's out back that way. So, I mean, there's so many things that we could, that could be done here and yoga or all kinds of things. So that's the entrance to the basement. So, yeah, anybody that ever wants to come by and do a retreat, I'm thinking of putting something out. I think I'm going to put something out for June. Whether or not things lighten up or not, I don't know, but we'll see. And then hopefully,
Claire, why don't you email us the link to the property? Because isn't there like some website or so that would be fun for people to check out? And then, if somebody is interested in doing something, they know how to reach out.
Yeah.
I actually, sorry, Claire, I'm very interested.
Yeah. I would be excited to do, something with everybody. It's just like I said, nothing's ever, I've tried doing things previously, but then my dad got sick. So, but if you look under, it's called the Villa Sarah. I think it's still under Creative Spiritual Center. She was going to change it to Wellness, but I don't know if she did that. And you can look up the Facebook page anyway. And then I don't know if she ever put she had an email that she was gonna, not an email, but a website, but I don't think she ever posted it out there. I don't know. I've never found it just, going online. So
Well, maybe you can just share it in an email if you can find it, because nobody's going to remember this right now, and I don't want to get off the thing. So send us like the name of the place and that stuff in an email.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Okay, I
And I
will.
think, hold on one second. I think Nicole had a question. I think the audio was messed up there for a second. Nicole, did you want to ask something?
Well, I just wanted to say that one of the things that Spirit is really nudging me about. In fact, I woke up in the middle of the night the other day thinking, I have to run a retreat. I'm like, okay. So it's supposed to be a writing and healing retreat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've been
and
talking
that's
to my managing editor, who's becoming a creativity coach. And we've been talking about, for a while now, about putting together these combined retreats. And we have a place in mind down in North Carolina, but I looked it up the other day, first one that we're doing. And I think this could be a great spot for me to consider. So I'll definitely follow up with you on it.
And think about it, right? We live in this area and have friends in this area. I mean, that's my old stomping ground. So to get people there, you would have people, your locals who would promote it, which is probably right now easier than getting somebody to travel farther, especially with the whole circumstances here. So who knows? Oh, that's exciting. That's cool. See, isn't this amazing? Talk about being grateful for the potential connections that can be made and where we support each other. I mean, honestly, I'm just realizing this as this is now the third or fourth thing in just this conversation here where we are, hooking each other up in this beautiful network way. And that's the one thing in the past, I have to say, in the past, I would have wanted to create that, but it never came about. I mean, I had different iterations with co-workers or co-partners, and actually where Claire works right now at that barn, there were several people, and the shit never went anywhere. Honestly, I'm like, this one, with you girls, the only thing was like, let's go to North Dakota. Who's in? And look what is happening. I mean, by doing nothing, so to speak, I mean, I know nothing is not the right word, but, by not trying so hard or by not trying to set something up, by allowing, look what's possible.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to get this off the ground for a while, and then, with my dad getting sick, and it just took me away from all this. But Sherry has always wanted to have it a wellness center, a creative wellness center. That's why she wanted to do writing, painting, have all kinds of different retreats and things happening for people. And we've done little ones, and I just feel, give it another shot and, try to make things happen here. I think with this group, I think we could have some really nice events going on. And it is centrally located. It's a great spot. And I really don't want to go back to Melanie's day spot. I'd rather be here and doing the thing. And then, like I said, she's open to bringing horses on the property. She doesn't want to pay for another barn. She said, I can set up out barns if I want. She said, but she spent $100,000 on the barn out back there. And originally we were going to put horses there, but she decided to do the birthday thing and the wedding thing out of there, which she doesn't do a lot of. So, yeah, I'll send you guys the information. And basically that's all. Like, I have to say, I actually have to get back to the barn myself and do my noon feeding for the gang and finish my barn chores. So, but again, I want to thank you all for the support and love that you've sent me, and it's really helped. It really has.
Oh, sending you a big squeeze.
Yeah, right back at you. I can't wait to be back with you, and I can't wait till we can all be together again. And yeah,
yay! All right, Lovey, have a good time with your horses, and thanks for giving us the tour. Keep us posted on the thingy there.
I will. I will. Yep. Moving forward. Thank you.
Yay.
Love you all.
Take care.
Thanks.
Good
Bye. To see you. And I saw Miss Lacey is back. You
I
were fast, girlfriend.
Ah, warmer.
Well, it takes, it's, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a mile from my house, if that far. So I just made a shake, so I'm good to go.
Nice, 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 nice. So let's just see. I mean, I think, has everybody shared? I think so, but not to say that we can't jump in or if something else came up. Who is actually this Galaxy tablet? That's so funny. Do you guys see that? But there's nobody there.
Yeah, it looks like Claire. Maybe she switched devices, but it's still
Oh,
connected.
okay. Yeah, maybe. So she left that on. Well, all right. Okay, so then, but there's nobody else there. And I think Karin probably, this has been an hour and a half. She's probably not coming, is my guess. But yeah, anybody, let's just do open mic for a minute. Anything else that popped up?
I have one other gratitude, and it's related to, I mean, I have lots of gratitudes, but one other that I want to bring up now related to Nicole's writing group, because I know Nicole is going to be starting another session of it. And I have to say, because I've been in writing groups before, that really amazing things have happened in this one, and that our last one, a couple of the times, my horses came through and I was able to channel messages from them. And the one this week was really beautiful about how each one of my horses is one of the elements. And it was so cool because I did not know that. And I have pictures in my barn representing each of the elements and have pulled that into the energy work that I do for a long time. But I didn't know I had one horse of each of the 4 elements, which was really super cool.
That's great.
But the thing that I was so grateful for, and so I encourage, because a lot of us are writing, I encourage you to try Nicole's writing group if you're drawn to doing that. Because then what I did, I've been having a little bit of trouble with my heart, and we don't quite know what's going on. So like, as in, my doctor doesn't know what's going on, and we're trying to figure it out. But so yesterday morning, I actually sat down and had a conversation with my heart right when I woke up, and did it like a writing prompt, and got some really profound information about what was going on. And, it remains to be seen now if the situation resolves, but whether or not it does, it was powerful information. So I just encourage you to find, those of you who are writing, to find, whether it's Nicole's group or somewhere else, there's something I think that happens in the synergy of a group like that takes it to a new level. I mean, I enjoy writing, but I've never written like this, and I've never asked my body what's going on or channeled my horses, and all of this just was coming through. Like, it wasn't like Nicole sat us down and said, now channel your horses. It came through. So, but it really took me to a completely different level in the writing and in the experience. So anyway, I just encourage everybody to check that out if you, because you already know how fabulous Nicole is, but just if you're looking for a place to share some things in a safe space, and to just keep going with your writing and all of that. I just wanted to mention how powerful that was for me.
And that's a really, really good point, Carrie. And that's a great exercise you did to tune into your heart. I've done that with body parts, and it's mind blowing what comes to forth.
Yes.
And good for you to come up with that idea, because I think that's the thing where I think these creative writing groups, because I call it creative because it is not. You're not asked to write a certain essay, topic, style, this or that. So it's kind of like whatever wants to be put on the page. And that's what I try to explain, but it's sometimes like it's hard to explain, like, watch what happens next, because you just don't know what gets unleashed. And it is different for everybody. And, for some, it's more like emotional catharsis. For others, it's like, oh my God, I have a voice. I didn't even know I have a voice, because the way I'm putting this out is always that same type of tone. And I'm recognizing a whole new me because of it. Or, I mean, it could be so many different things. And it's, I'm so excited to hear that this has initiated even more, for you there to dive into the depth of your heart. I mean, talk about, having a real heart-to-heart conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so for anybody who is interested, I needed to take a week off to kind of get my little projects here all tied up with the book, and I'm working on web copy to be more clear and specific, and then writing this whole piece with and for Monarch, because that was that just came upon me, and I'm like, I need to write about this before this whole story fades away to a certain degree. So I will start, I'm gathering people this coming week, and I would like to start the week after. So if you're interested, I'm going to do again 6 weeks, because I feel that is enough commitment to have recognized your writing and you meet yourself, I think, within 6 weeks. But it's also not like, oh my God, a long-term commitment. I'm in writing groups that are 10 weeks and sometimes 12 weeks long, and that's a whole nother commitment. But this 6 weeks felt right for me. I don't know, you guys can probably say that, Lacey and Carrie, did that feel right? Nicole?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
A good first taste.
Yeah, it felt good to me.
Yeah, so that's starting, so I don't know the dates, I don't know, but not this coming week, the week after. So, but that's beautiful, Carrie. Thank you for sharing your heart.
Thank you.
Literally.
I have a question. I guess it would be appropriate to ask here. If you, Nicole, I think you were going to check in with the Conservancy about what's going on in September. I don't know if you said that already this morning.
Nope, I didn't actually. That's great. I was going to end with that. So the Conservancy has their big June annual meeting on the 21st, I believe, or the week of the 21st. And that's when they are looking at all these things, seeing, what are they going to offer in the future and how can they go about it. To tell you the truth, I spoke with Kim a couple of days ago, and she says nothing is closed here. I mean, they're obviously also a state that is more about personal freedom and whatnot. So, people are not as worried about it, but also they don't have a lot of people in that area. So all the restaurants, the hotels, apparently everything is open. And if that's the case and the Conservancy doesn't have an issue, I feel we can still go. I mean, it's a question of how do we get there? And that's the one thing I need to look into a little bit. I mean, there have been conversations about, we'll rent a car and we'll go. Or, or we travel by plane because the planes are empty anyway. So I don't know. I have to see that part, but I wanted to wait for the Conservancy before I go deeper into the next step.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think you had mentioned, well, I guess now at this point things are different, but the hotel wanted it blocked by a certain date, but I imagine right now, I think you said by June they needed to know.
Exactly. They were also June was the date. So I will, because now I heard the meeting is on the 21st, when usually it was in early June, the Conservancy. So I think I need to get us an extension till the end of June with the hotel to make sure that we have the rooms. Also, I think if there is, I think there might be some adjustments, is my guess, because the Conservancy, there are some changes going on. And so I think there might be a little bit of an adjustment in how we go about it, especially since we are going to do smaller groups, right? We're going to be a smaller group. So I think we might actually be okay to come if they say, they don't want bigger groups. So I will see what we can come up with. I think this will be maybe a little bit altered, due to the circumstances, but I think we still have a good option to go there and do something as I had envisioned.
Okay. I mean, I would hope that we are able to do things by September, because it's mid-May.
You hope, but then you don't want to go back to work on the other hand. That work.
I know. I would love to be able to do my in-home work, but not have to sit because I spend a lot of time in the office that's not where I'm not actually like working or doing paperwork and stuff
Admin.
like that.
Oh.
So I would be okay with going into people's homes that's more productive right now, but not have to just monotonously sit in the office twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything. Because then it's like wasted time where I get all the stuff done here that needs to get done at my house.
Yeah.
So I think they're talking about phasing us into work though. Like having us come in like 3 days a week or working 3 days a week and doing like rotating who's coming in and stuff like that. But yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But I hope we can go.
I know.
That would be a nice like break from this.
Yeah,
You know?
a recharge.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Recharge the batteries.
And what a great place to recharge, right?
Right? Yeah, oh my God. Connection
Yeah.
would be great.
But it's like we are already quiet, and then we go in the prairie and we're going to get even calmer and more quiet. It's almost like, how do we get back into anything from here? It's kind of like, okay, we're just going to stay here. At the end, Nicole Miali, we're all moving to North Dakota after all, right? She'll be out there securing the land for us.
I'll lead the train. Yeah. Well,
We should have bought Leo's place. You know, Frank's brother. That was for sale. We could have bought that place.
I had a last minute reading yesterday with an intuitive that I've probably known her now for 25 years, but she's very gifted, and she said to me, we're just at the beginning still. She said we are still just at the beginning of this, because what's happening from a very metaphysical perspective is that the systems and institutions need to be broken down completely in order for the new to be built in its place. And right now, systems and institutions have been paused. Some are cracking, but they're not completely broken. So she said, it's not going to be as quick as people think. She said, I don't know if there's a second wave of the virus. She said, I don't know what form it takes, but she said that she's receiving no signs that this is going to be a quickly resolved kind of thing, and that she does think that it's still just very much the beginning phase. So I don't know what that means, in terms of movement, in terms of what's happening in our day-to-day lives, but that was the information she gave me yesterday.
Yeah, I think also this is not over, and we'll see how this plays out. I mean, I certainly don't want anybody to take crazy risks, and I wouldn't want to. And so we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
it will be interesting to see, and it seems that we have other countries to look toward to see how they are managing it, and with Europe being so far ahead of us with it. It's kind of, I always get the news from my parents and my sister, and to see how they are dealing and the adjustments that need to be made. So it's I mean, I'm glad that it is like this. What?
How is it in Germany?
So they started now to loosen things up, but they immediately saw also a spike again of the virus. And so, my parents thankfully don't need to go out much, and they live very rurally and can take walks, and they're constantly on their bicycles and whatnot. So they are well, but the businesses are still, just like here. I mean, some of the businesses that are just like in the face-to-face kind of thing, therapies and beauty and all that stuff, that's dead for now. So, and my sister, she was now after 2.5 months
yeah, I mean,
in the house. I mean, she has a little terrace, thank God, but she was for 2.5 months in the house. She just this last week left for a walk.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Hard.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. She had moments, let me tell you. She was like, I thank God she has work, and her work, she's a translator, so she could still do that. But it was like she was like, if I didn't have the boyfriend that she now has, who also helped her clean, I mean, the cleaning procedures that they did is unbelievable. And if they went out without permission slips, there was a $70 fine right away. Smack, pay now. So they were tough there. So, we have it very good here.
Yeah, we do.
So,
We do.
yeah. So, but that's why we start with the gratitude, because, right, we have our amazing life still. And if we keep ourselves safe mentally, I think the rest will help and will work out, because that's, I think, the biggest part. When our mind, goes down the rabbit hole, that affects everything, our immune system and everything. So having these gatherings and hearing the good news from everybody and how life moves forward, I think is such a great way of staying with the flow of beauty and, and wonderful accomplishments, because I think this is another way our group shows us that accomplishments happen not just by doing, but also by being and allowing. And that's, I think, what's unusual about us, right? It's not just like, oh, I did this or I did this, but wow, I trusted this and look what happened. Or I tried this and look what happened. And that's what's really, really special about us here. And so, yeah, I mean, I think,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Nicole, to that exact point, this apartment revealed itself right after I went on Facebook and posted a little video about this, and I said, I'm putting it down. I've been pushing so hard to try to make this move happen. I'm taking a week off. I'm doing nothing. I'm packing. I'm not sorting. I'm not worrying. I'm not looking up bank financing. I'm done. So I put it down, and it was 30. That was the day that the post was made. I didn't see it until 2 days later. But if I hadn't put it down, I never would have seen that, because I was spending all my time trying to make this other thing happen. And I just said, I'm taking a week off. And in those just a few days, boom, that's what happened. It's just just put it down.
Allowing.
Yeah, the path of least resistance, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna make a mention for for Claire. I noticed that since she's been taking care of the barn that she's been at, it had all that strife, but things are improving since the other people have been removed, and it's the energy shifting obviously around the facility there due to her energy and her devotion and all the rest of that. So I'm sure the grounds, and like Libby was saying, all that earth and energy is shifting, and she's contributing in her way as those other people have left.
Yeah.
And the other thing for her, if she gets to listen to this later, it reminded me with her father passing and her blocks of being able to move forward with her goals, because she had to be a caretaker role. I was sort of in a situation with one of my brothers who passed. I just had enrolled in massage school and didn't start the program yet, and my brother passed away, and I was like, I had to take care of his financials and all that. And I said, there's no way I can work and go to school and take care of all this by myself. And the guy that I worked with said, are you kidding me? He said, you devoted your life to your brother's care, and a segment of my life. And he said, this is his gift to you, that you're done with that role. And now the door is open. And I talked to him, I said, I gotta withdraw and go get cancel my check and all the rest of that. And he said, absolutely not. So if it wasn't for his voice of reason and being strong for me, saying your brother gave you the pathway, now you're released from those situational things that you were taking care of, and this is your gift from him. So kind of in the much as I see it for Claire's dad's passing and her caretaking, it's gonna open her doorway for her, because it's just, she's been released from one thing, now it'll open for her in another way as our energies start to flow and get in the mojo of expansion.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Right. All the restrictions, even for the writing program and from the home front, they're all they all evaporated.
Yeah.
And so she has, now it comes the point where you're like, shit, now I'm really responsible for my own life.
Yeah.
Now I have to choose me.
Yeah, well,
Oopsie.
that's exactly it.
It's like, be careful what you wish for, because when it
Yes.
comes, it's like, geez, I didn't think
Yeah.
it was going to be
Yeah.
coming out like that. But
And so often it doesn't come in the form we want it, right? So all the, the last 2 years I've been saying, I'm done with the magazine. Please, someone buy it, please. I didn't expect for it to evaporate in the course of a week,
Yeah.
right? And be worth basically very little. So it's not saleable at this point. So now I'm kind of like, oh my God, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I meant, but, but it is interesting, Stacey, how there's always another way of looking at it, right? There's always another level or layer. And I, and we process in pieces, right? So at first we're just hit with the, oh my God, I felt like I got broken up with 30 times this week. And, everybody was like, it's not you, it's not the magazine. I just don't have any money. I'm like, I get it. I get it. I get it. I can't even be mad. I get it, but then I'm sitting there going, where'd my business go? Just like, poof, like that,
vaporized.
But then on the flip side of it is, okay, but I didn't want to do it anymore anyway. So now the universe said, okay, you don't have to do it. And I'm like, but what do I do instead? I thought I would have a transition period where I decided what I was going to do, but it also, it pushed me to make a decision that I'd been sort of on the edge of making, but I'd held off on, which is putting the other magazine on the market, because I have two and I had just listed one for sale. And I thought, oh, screw it. You know what? Let me just list the other one now and see what happens. And I have a feeling that one's going to sell really fast because it's not as expensive. It's not as big. It's not as scary to people. That one is not advertisers. The other one has been bleeding. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll sell the little one and then put a little bit of time and effort into rebuilding this one and then try to sell it for whatever it's worth. I don't know. But so just nothing plays out the way we think it will. But we always get what we asked for in some form or another. And that's what I just keep, recognizing, like, okay, that's not what I meant, but all right, thank you.
Well, it's like what you need sometimes, because I know that when I have transition time or money or resources, I drag my feet longer versus when the shit hits the fan, man, let me just watch me jump up and go, right? And for some people, they don't need it, but I need a kick in the ass for the most part to really get my, I write the best articles when I'm on a deadline and best presentations. And that's why this writing format works for me. Give me 50 minutes and I'm going to bang something out. But, and then if that's the case, I think the universe delivers us sometimes these bangs,
It's
totally agree.
Pushing us off the cliff where we're hesitating and hesitating and hesitating to put that foot out. I call it the snow globe effect. It's like somebody in the universe has us in a snow globe and they go, watch this. If you think you're comfortable, let's do this now. And just
that's exactly it. Exactly.
It's just like, oh, seriously, can we, take a little less excitement sometimes?
Yeah. That's definitely what I've been asking for. And it was like, just as the snow all settled and I had a couple weeks where I finally felt good physically and, I was like, yay, okay, I'm finally getting to heal and rest. And then it was like, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, son of a bitch. But it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just, this is being human.
I think what's cool about the collective of this group is how we can, for the most part, either help each other step back and look at the bigger picture, because when you're immersed in it, you can't see where you're going. And it's just, everybody here has the perception of a healthy outlook, or a way of looking at it in a different, and that's what I love about listening to you guys, because there's always an angle that somebody can see for you, or like, oh, but it's always so positive, and the uplift here is just, it's so enlightening, It's not, because things are heavy, but we all seem to pull out something for somebody else here. And it's like, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I really value that too. It's really special.
I love it. Well, my family is texting me saying like, we're on a family call, Nicole. And I'm like, okay, I better go. You can hang out if you want longer. I just have to go because the family is calling, and we're having a early Mother's Day call. So, well,
Nice.
I
Happy Mother's Day to you.
have a beautiful, beautiful week. Oh, I wanted to say, I feel 3 weeks feels good to me. 2 weeks felt to me like a little bit like, oh, what has happened? Has anything happened? 3 weeks, I was really excited to come together. So unless there is some major, and I mean, obviously you could also meet separately or whatnot, but to me, managing it and doing it feels right. So I'm going to set us up again in 3 weeks.
Good. I may be back to work on Saturdays at that point, so I'll have
So
to
then give me feedback, because we obviously can change the day or time according to 50 different schedules, but we'll figure it out. We'll make sure that, we'll find a time that works for all.
If not, obviously, I can just get the recording and jump on and listen to what goes on.
Yeah, but it is nicer when we have as many as possible, at least,
Yeah.
Great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, love you.
Good luck
Have a
with
good day.
everything.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Keep us posted.
Take care.
You too.